Hello, welcome to my channel. My name's Saoirse and I'm going to be doing the Booktube Newbie Tag today. Thanks for clicking on this video. This is going to be the first one that I upload to this channel. I figured that made sense and I don't know, hopefully it'll give you kind of a sense of if you might like this channel, if you might want to subscribe and keep watching my videos. Hello, I'm Saoirse. And I have started this channel because I was posting bookish content on my other channel, but that channel is primarily a knitting channel. And basically just kind of decided that I wanted to separate out the content. I wanted to have separate channels. The YouTube algorithm likes that better anyways. So I just figured this would kind of give my bookish content a better opportunity to find the right people that would actually enjoy it. I'm also a aspiring author. I am working on a book right now that is one that I would like to self-publish. I think it'll be my debut. That's the plan right now anyways, so there may be some writing vlogs and little writing updates here and there on this channel as well. But anyways, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the tag. And the first question is, why did you start this channel? Which I kind of already talked about. So like I mentioned, I have been starting to post bookish content, but I was posting it on my other channel, which is primarily a knitting channel. I wanted to try out bookish content. I wanted to do like the monthly TBR videos and the wrap-up videos and have a place, you know, here on the internet to talk about books. So I tried it out and I've been really enjoying it, but the YouTube algorithm hasn't been loving it, and it was actually, I think, impacting my normal content as well. And so I decided, you know what, in order to allow myself to post more of the content that I want to be making, I'm just gonna go ahead and create a separate channel, and in that way I can do whatever knitting videos I want on my other channel and do whatever bookish content and perhaps some writing content on this channel. And it's kind of funny because I started the other channel as an AuthorTube channel originally and was planning to also do some bookish content there as well. And then I pivoted to knitting, and now I'm back to starting another channel for bookish related things. So kind of in a broader sense, I just really obviously enjoy reading, and I just wanted to have a little space where I could reflect on my reading, talk about what I think about these books. I have opinions and I want an outlet, you know. It really doesn't matter too much how many people listen, but it's mostly I just need an outlet to talk about what I'm reading, because I like doing that. And there's no better place than YouTube to talk about the things that you enjoy. Do you know what I mean? Like, I want to ramble about books, so naturally we need to start a YouTube channel. I would also love to connect with people who read similar books to me so we can give each other recommendations. We can, you know, chat about our favorite books, maybe, I don't know, bond over books we don't like, you know, that whole thing. I just think it'll be fun. That's why I, you know, started to make bookish content. And I will leave some of those videos linked down below if you do want to just watch them and get a sense of the types of books that I read, but we'll also talk about that a little bit later. So let's move on to question number 2. What are some fun and unique things you can bring to YouTube? And I'm reading this question specifically, what are fun and unique things I can bring to Booktube specifically? I personally just feel like everybody has something unique that they can bring to whatever it is that they are choosing to do, and we need more, you know, perspectives and different personalities and things like that. So, you know, I'm bringing myself to this channel, which is already going to be a unique thing because I'm my own unique person, but also very similar to other people probably as well. So also because I'm a writer, I think that I bring you know, a different perspective when talking about books, and something that I do, you know, when I'm not liking a book, I do try to kind of look at it from that perspective of like, why is this not satisfying to me as the reader? Because it helps me with my writing. So I think that will definitely come into play when I'm talking about books. you know, I'm reviewing them as a reader, but also I do have that like writer brain as well. That's going to be looking at things from a perspective of what can I as a writer learn from this. And yeah, I also really love making use of my library. I like reading a lot of Kindle Unlimited books. Not that there's anything wrong with being one of those booktubers who have the beautiful bookshelves full of books. I'm not judging at all whatsoever, but I personally, I do buy books. These are the ones behind me are always going to be the ones that I have not read. So obviously like I have some. And I have I do have the IKEA bookshelves, but they're outside this room, and I primarily keep books that I've already read in there, and I don't tend to hold on to books unless I think that I'm going to reread them. So I'm not out here trying to buy all the books. I do definitely get into moods where I feel more like book shopping, but then I get in moods where I'm like, I don't want to physically hold on to all of this stuff, especially if I know that I'm never going to reread it. I don't really want a book sitting on my shelf if I'm never going to reach for it again. Like I want to put it back out into the world for someone else to find. So I don't know. Again, no judgments here. If you're someone who has a beautiful big, maybe several bookcases full of books that you either have or haven't read, I'm happy for you if that's what makes you happy. But if, you know, I don't know, I think it's a unique thing to kind of see, maybe not, but like, you know, I feel like I see a lot of people with just kind of that, like they've got all the books in the background, and I'm not that person. So question 3, what are you most excited for about my channel? I think is the question. I think I didn't write down the full question, but what am I most excited for in regards to this channel? I think the biggest thing is just being free to like talk about books and also to connect with other people that read the same types of books as me, and get recommendations. Like I'm excited to, yeah, just like have, I don't know, a small little community on here with people who also read, like we read similar things, we have similar tastes, and we can recommend books for each other. You know, you read a book that you like, you tell me about it, I read a book I like, I tell you about it. Like that's exciting. And just, yeah, I want to have a cute little small community here where we can just kind of chat and hopefully make some friends with other booktubers as well. That sounds fun. So, okay, question 4, why do I love reading? I feel like this is pretty much going to be the same answer as most people, but I love reading for mostly kind of the escapism, like especially when I'm reading fantasy, it's like I just get to go hang out in a totally different world for a little bit, and you know, instead of thinking about my own problems, I get to deal with other, you know, fictional problems. And I think too, I'm definitely somebody who, you know, I'm really big on characters. Like if I don't like the characters in a book, I typically don't like the book, you know? And I'm not somebody, like, you know those books where none of the characters are likable? I don't read those books because that's another aspect of reading that I love, is just hanging out with characters that are fun, that I've gotten to know, that, you know, are growing, you know, throughout the series. And, you know, that's something, I love series for that reason, because it's like if I like the characters, then I want to hang out with them for longer. So I want it to be a series rather than a standalone, you know, because it's like you get friends and family and like a little vacation in every book. So yeah, I think that that's probably the same answer that everyone probably gives, but yeah. Okay, so question 5 is, what book series got you into reading? So I actually have like 2 different time periods where I like got into reading, if that makes sense. So like obviously when I was younger and I started reading, like I learned how to read and realized you can read for fun kind of thing. And I would say the series that got me into reading is probably, I have 2 that I can think of. One is Harry Potter, because I'm 31, and basically like the time that those books were coming out, I think I probably was a little too young to read them on my own. So they were like, I remember the first 3 being read to me, And then when the fourth book came out, I remember being like, I want to read this myself. And yeah, so I think that got me into reading because it was like, I don't know, like I definitely could, I think I could read when I don't remember fully when I started reading, like what age, but I definitely think I could read when Harry Potter came out. It's just like I was reading more so like, you know, like I wasn't reading like full on like chapter books, probably. I can't remember. But yeah, I don't know, I grew up basically with Harry Potter. And I remember every summer when Harry Potter would like be released, it was like I was so excited, and my mom would only buy us one copy, and her and my brother would read it first, and then I have to wait because I was like a slower reader because I was younger. And I remember just like being like, oh, like hurry up and give me the book already. So definitely got into reading with Harry Potter. I feel like my age group, that's probably a really common thing as well. But also I remember this one series, it was like a sci-fi like young adult series. I think it was called Replica. I cannot remember the author. I will put it on the screen. But these were like, I don't know, like the main character was one of like several clones, and part like every book I feel like she's like finding like a new clone and you know, helping them, and I don't know, she was like adopted or something. I can't really remember the details, and I remember she had like a crush on her best friend's like older brother or something like that. And I remember when I was reading that series, I remember thinking to myself like, I want to write books like these when I'm older. So yeah. So if you remember reading that series growing up, let me know. It's definitely, I was kind of looking at the covers the other day and I was thinking like, wow, this is very like 90s, very nostalgic for me. I kind of want to pick them up and like reread them and just see like if I remember them correctly. Question 6 is, what questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? Okay, so the questions that I would ask, so I would definitely ask how, because I know with like social media, it's so easy to kind of get caught up in like the numbers game, you know, and like specifically when it comes to reading, I could totally see it being something where, because I can already kind of feel myself being like, oh, I need to like read more so I have more books to talk about. And so my biggest question would be for other booktubers is like, how do you kind of reset yourself when you start to get more focused on like the numbers, like how many books you're reading and are you reading the right books, and feeling any of that kind of like social media peer pressure to like read certain books. Like how do you kind of reset yourself and come back to reading for just fun and reading for yourself instead of reading for like your channel, if that makes sense. And if you are a booktuber, feel free to answer that question in the comments if you'd like, if there's anything that you do or any mindset things that you incorporate. I would love to know. But yeah, and then also I would ask too, if there was one book you could convince me to read, what would it be? What would the book be? Let me know. It doesn't matter if it's not a genre that I would normally read. I would love to know like, what's that one book that if you could get all your friends and family to read, or all of your fellow booktubers to read, what would it be? And you can also answer that question even if you're not a booktuber, feel free. Okay, question 7, what challenges will be hardest with booktube? So I think kind of what I mentioned before is like, you know, I think it will be a little bit of a challenge here and there to kind of remind myself like, hey, we don't need to read more books. We don't need to read certain books in order to like grow the channel, or to like, you know, just when I'm getting caught up in numbers, it's gonna be a little bit of a challenge to kind of bring it back to the original kind of intention for this channel, which is just to have a little bit of an outlet for something that I'm very passionate about. This is just supposed to be like for fun. So like I definitely want my channel to do well. You know, the more it grows, the more people I can meet and connect with, and that would be really, really cool. But ultimately, like, it needs to stay just for fun, otherwise I won't want to do it no matter how successful it is. So yeah, just kind of remembering it's not about the numbers and not to get discouraged, especially when I'm first starting out, because literally I'm at this point like the only person subscribed to my channel is me on my other channel. but that's because nobody knows about it and I haven't posted anything. But do you know what I mean? Like, we're in the single digits for subscribers. This video is probably not gonna get very many views, so it's kind of like, you know, just gonna like remind myself that that's okay. It's for fun. So I think it's just the usual social media challenges that we all face. I think I'm gonna have a little bit of a challenge with like dark romance because I read it all the time, but then I'm like, do I want other people to know that I read it? But I do read it. And I see other people talking about it and it's not a big deal. So, you know what I mean? Like, there's some of those books that are extra dark and you're like, do I want people to know that I read this and that I kind of liked it? So I think that'll be a little bit of a challenge. It's just getting comfortable talking about those books. I think there's also a little bit of a fear of like reviewing books when I'm, you know, an aspiring author. Like, I don't want to do it in a way that feels like tacky, but since I'm not published, I don't think it matters. But when I do end up publishing, I'm kind of like, you know, do I still review books? Is that tacky? It's kind of like reviewing your coworkers a little bit, but I think that it can still be done in a good, tasteful way. And I think as long as you're not personally attacking anybody, I don't really see an issue. But I am a little bit of a people pleaser, so like not wanting to say anything negative about someone's work, knowing how much effort and time they put into it, you know, but at the same time wanting to talk about the book. So let's move on to question 8, which is, when did you start reading? I don't know. Whatever normal age you start reading. I don't really remember. I don't remember my childhood a ton. Like, I don't know, other people are like, yeah, I have this memory from when I was 2 years old. And I'm like, how? So I don't know. I started reading when you normally start reading. I don't know what age that is. So question 9 is, where do I read? At home, either in my bed or on my couch. That's kind of the 2 places that I read. Yeah, I don't usually like go places to read because I'm an introvert. I like being at home. So, you know, I just kind of chill here and read and curl up and get nice and cozy. And yeah, we're at the last question, which is, what kinds of books do you read? And I feel like this is the most important question because this is going to tell you whether or not you might want to watch my future videos. Like I mentioned, I will leave my past couple of bookish videos that I made that are on my other channel if you do want to watch and kind of get a sense of what I read. But I do read a lot of, like, mostly fantasy romance is kind of my favorite genre. Fantasy romance or romantasy, whatever you want to call it. I also really like contemporary romance and regular contemporary romance, dark contemporary romance, dark fantasy romance. I've also recently discovered that I really have been liking the romance murder mystery like subgenre. So if you have any recs for that specifically, I've really been enjoying that. I just read Indigo Ridge, which is contemporary romance, but like the plot is centered on a murder mystery, and I loved it. It was really great, so I definitely want more of that. I'm also trying to get into murder mysteries, like mystery, thriller, that genre. Kind of liking it sometimes, kind of not liking it other times, so we'll see how that goes. And then yeah, I mean, definitely YA, fantasy and sci-fi. I think that is everything. Please let me know what types of genres you read. If you want to answer any of these, you know, questions, if we had the same answers for any of the questions, let me know. If you were reading the same types of genres, if you have any, you know, book recommendations right off the bat for me, let me know. I hope that this was a fun video. Like I mentioned, I have, you know, already been posting bookish content, so if you did want to get a little bit more of a sense of the books I've been reading lately, you can definitely watch those videos. You can also add me on Goodreads if you want. We can be friends, or you can follow me. I don't remember how it works on Goodreads, but feel free to add me on there. If you enjoyed this video and want to help out my channel, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, and I would love to hear from you in the comments, so feel free to leave me a comment. And other than that, I think that's everything. I don't think I have anything else, so pretty sure that's everything. So I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Hope you get lots of reading time in, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!